Hi, I'm Kunal. I'm working on Hyperlane. Hyperlane is a cross-chain permissionless protocol. Anyone can deploy it between any chains you want. Today specifically, I'll be talking about uh, the Open Intent Framework, which is an intent framework built on top of Hyperlane. But the framework is open to everyone. You can build any other protocol on top of it. Yeah, let's get started. On the agenda, first, I'll be talking about what intents are, what EIP 7683 is, which is what we'll be specifically be using. How do the contracts work? A solver, you'll know what a solver is, and what prices we offer, and what kind of ideas we are looking for versus what you might be interested in building. Yeah. So I guess before starting about intents, I'll talk about why you need intents. Over the last couple of years, interop has been a big problem as more and more rollups have came on. I think we have more than 20 rollups now, uh, over like doing a lot of volume, and there's a big problem about like going between these rollups as they have multiple token standards, and it's a pain in the ass to go between each rollup, wait for that finality window, or rely on some third party centralized solver. Or maybe even in my case, I would just use Coinbase to go between rollups. Um, yeah, and all of these don't have a common interface, and that kind of creates this problem. And what this means as a user is you click on MetaMask and you 7 networks. In my case, it's like more than 20 now. You have to go and pick for every app, go to a different network and select that network and then connect your app. So this is not ideal, right? I don't know if you know, this is like this intersection on Dallas. This is kind of what it feels like today. So many different routes, uh, different token standards. Sometimes you go there, you don't have a pool which has enough liquidity in it. So yeah, not ideal. So I guess this was a statement from Vitalik in Denver or in Bangkok, I think, where he was like, uh, "We need to sit together until we need to not go out of this room until we solve this problem." And that's kind of what we need with Interop today. We need Ethereum to feel like a single chain. Yeah, intents. I think everyone's talked about intents. You've heard of intents at some point, and people don't explain it. So I'll use Uniswap's diagram, which I feel like is like the cleanest one. You have a user, you sign order. You could do it on chain or off chain, and it's rest of it is magic if you are just a user because you just get your assets on a different chain. What happens under the hood is you have a filler, which initiates an order, goes and fills your fund. So you get the funds. Now the filler has to wait for the message, or wait for some way for the asset to arrive for them to sort of rebalance it. And as a user, you don't see any of it. You might see it if your intent didn't get filled. In that case, you'll get it refunded. But in the happy scenario, you're just a user. The filler has to deal with the settlement contract, the filler contract on destination chain, and yeah, that is it. And then you have the EIP, which was created like last year, created by I think Across and Uniswap together, and it was an interface for creating, executing, and settling intents for cross-chain user apps. And so this, we'll go more into depth about like the contract itself, but there are mainly two different interfaces. One is origin settler and one is destination settler. And origin is the one user interacts with for submitting and then later settling on. And the destination is meant for only filling. So that's only meant for the filler. Uh, this is to say that this is flexible to what kind of filler you use, what kind of strategy you use to rebalance, and all of those things are abstracted away. Like how you verify someone filled your intent. We don't prescribe that there. And yeah, this has just received wide recognition by the wider ecosystem. So I think I'll go to the next one. And a few months ago, we introduced this framework along with a lot of industry partners. It was basically meant as like an open source solution, or like, as a one solution where there's everyone can build on top of it. And the problem today is people have their own intent frameworks, so they have their own fillers. And as a filler, if I'm planning to support multiple protocols, I need to custom integrate them, which is not ideal. And in a way to like bootstrap a strong community, we sort of partnered with all of these wonderful, wonderful teams, and this is what we came up with. And if you see the repo already, you already know this, but we have a solver which is very naive, which just transfers money and keeps depleting their funds. But that's open source. We have a UI template with it, and we also have the contracts. So there's a basic contract and there's a Hyperlane version. For the hackathon, you will need to use the Hyperlane to be eligible. And also, it's production ready. I think Echo Protocol, if you've heard of it, uses intents in prod. I think on base, Cello, Mantle. I think those are the chains supported. Uh, yeah. So I guess I didn't really talk much about settlement. Like once a filler, like how does a source chain knows a filler filled you on the destination chain? And that's where like you use Hyperlane, something like Hyperlane, which is like an oracle. So sending a message from destination to origin, telling that, oh, this origin or this intent, this order ID was filled by X filler, and this is how they unlock the funds. Think of it as a escrow account on the source chain. Yeah, that arrow is where the flow is. Look at the code here. So I think maybe too small. So you have the basics. I'll go for the interface here. Interface would be this one. And you see this struct. This is the main struct which we'll be using. Um, you see all the things as a user need to think about: your own address, your origin chain ID. Uh, Important note: Hyperlane has a domain which may or may not be a chain ID. Just check in case. Deadline: how long, uh, when is a order opened, and then when is order filled. Why is there open deadline? Because some of the gasless messages, uh, they don't have a they don't have, because they're not on chain yet, you could like potentially just delay them. And in that case, this would revert when you're creating the order. Order ID, again, we're not prescribing how you generate the order ID. Max spent, how much are you willing, how much the filler will send. And then there is a min received. So max send would be like something like ETH, and min received could be USDC, whoever's receiving it. And this is just, you could provide additional instructions depend on what project you're using. Uh, these things are not that important. And this is the main contract. This is the function which the user calls or someone calls on their behalf. The for, if you see the for, that's mostly meant for someone like the gasless experience. So you give the signature of the user, and you have the open and open for. You have a resolve for and resolve similarly. Resolve is what I was referring to as settlement. And this is the interface. This is on the destination where uh, the the filler fills, or solver, whatever you like to call it. And I will go through the Hyperlane one. So, yeah. You can also use basic swap. Also, I know I had a question. You can like use this as a foundry. Uh, Foundry dependency shouldn't be a problem. If it is, let me know. Um, it's not that important. Yep. So this is like the set. I think I should probably, yeah. So this is only for like settling, which is what you're doing to repay the relayer, and for refunds. So what happens is sometimes your order doesn't get filled, and the user should get it refunded, right? Say you pass the fill deadline. In that case, you go handle refund versus you go settle, and we normally check where we. There you go. You check for the eligibility, and if it is not eligible, you return versus uh, you transfer the tokens out. And this is common. This is not Hyperlane specific. You could also just inherit it. You don't need to implement all of this. Um, so this is again order ID. You can generate them however you want. I think in this case we might just have a kachak somewhere. Uh, t- 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 and then this is the resolve order. But I'll go back to the Hyperlane one. So this is that was handle settle and handle refund, and the same flow. Just now it's refund, and you're transferring the order amount to the sender. So I guess that was the what was different is you have transferring the order to the receiver versus the sender versus they're essentially the same functions. Uh, Maybe let's go to the filler now. So the filler is a very basic example. It just sends money, and I think one of the projects we would like to build is a smarter filler, which is uh, it manages its own inventory. Where say I'm low on funds on base, I'll refill it back. It could be through a DEX. It could be if I have excess funds on one, you just transfer it over, and you know how to transfer funds between chains, right? So uh, this is very simple. There's two parts to it. One is a listener listens to events, uh, and one is a filler. So you'll in uh, all these folders you'll have a filler and a listener, and you could probably just fork this code. So there's this by Hyperlane, and if you check the filler, there's this prepare intent function, which is you might need something specific to prepare your intent. Maybe you need like some kind of approval on this destination chain. So yeah, keep those things in mind. You could also build this in a Docker container. What else is there? Uh, um, yeah, I think I can go back to the slides now. Uh, I'll have time for more questions. These are the prices. There's best use of Hyperlane. Use Hyperlane any way you want. You can use it on local node. You can use it on testnet, mainnet, doesn't matter. Then the open intent framework could be anything related to intents. Could be a solver. Could be a way to settle. A new way to settle. And infra is also catch-all, generic. So yep, fun ideas. I don't know if you've heard of EIP 7702. Those are these next gen accounts. You can add intents to that. And then there's a new settlement option like Succinct SP1. And this is the one I was talking about, smarter inventory management. You could rebalance with like Uniswap pools. And another idea would be a Telegram bot. Use Hyperlane warp routes. Pretty simple. Yeah. If you have any other ideas, let me know. Yeah, I think that will be it. I think I'm on time. If there's questions, let me know. You can reach me on Telegram. I think Telegram would be the quickest one. The docs are there. I don't think I linked the intents, but it's openintents.xyz. And the Discord is pretty active. We'll have other people in the team too. Yeah. All right. Examples for intents. I see. Um, oh, let's see. Infra could be something like an addition to the CLI. Like maybe if you use the CLI, see maybe there's a problem there. Yeah. That kind of thing. So I mean, arguably, like infra is so wide, you could just put any infra for everything. So yeah. Uh, Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. You can do like across for like filling. You could across as contracts, right? Which fill, but then you could settle. So across settles with UMA, which is an optimistic oracle. But you could instead use Hyperlane. That would work. Like the so if you saw the contract, it just handles like settlement and refunds. It doesn't handle like filling. Yeah, yeah. I didn't go much into like the trust model of Hyperlane. You could swap it out where you could do whatever you want. We have this thing called ISMs, interchain security modules. You could do a like committee, like a validators, like a multi-sig of validators, but you could also use something like succinct. You could use optimism's bridge. We actually have a wrapper around that. So if you want to like be the most secure as you can, but that takes 7 days, right? Hmm? Yeah, exactly. We have more than like 15 now, different kind of ISMs. You can pick and choose. Yeah. Was there another question? Okay. Yeah. This is the that's the origin settler. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Yep. So intents are mostly for ERC20s. Um, you could do this for like NFTs if you want, or like any other tokens, but I don't know if that is that beneficial because given that this is meant to be fungible across tokens. It's not part of this interface, but you can do that with Hyperlane, just general messaging. If you so Hyperlane's interface is mailbox.dispatch and mailbox.handle, and in the handle itself you can do another dispatch. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So okay, that is if you see the interface, there's like this order data, right? You see order data, that's bytes. You can do whatever there you want there. So you send something, encode it in here, and then on the destination chain, see if I want to put it in a lending pool. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. So what you could do is you could pass that as order data and on the destination chain, check for your condition. And if it fails, just revert the order. I don't even care what kind of amount I'm sending. So that's you'll have to implement that. Um, but you have like this random. You could just have arbitrary data here, so you could do whatever you want. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where do we check that? We don't check it right now because we don't do that custom logic. But you could add that. Like you like this is where you'll be changing it, or like this is not for filling, but where there's a filling function, you'll be doing that. Filling is for destination chain. Settling is for origin. Filling is for uh destination. Yeah. Yeah, that's what the refund is for. 30 seconds. Yeah. It could take like a minute. Depends on the finality of the chain because we wait for finality here. No, optimism is short. Optimism is like one block. So that is the finality. Like this is the finality we like Hyperlane at consider safe. We don't wait for the whole window. I can yeah. We have configured finality for different chains. Yes. I'll be at the booth. You feel free to come by. Yeah. Yeah. Done. Then I think that was the last slide. And thank you guys.